For my week two turn in for this asset, I'm going over my self critique. Some of my reflections come from what I've done in the previous time that I had character modeling. I put a lot of detail that I really didn't need. I didn't think about how I was going to have to go in and do the retopology and the UVing. I got a bit overzealous and just thought about the design of it and actually putting in all the heavy detail, which was a big mistake. I had a lot that I had to do towards the end trying to recoup. I modeled the asset directly to what the actual reference was. So as far as my A pose or T pose, and I really didn't think about all the extra elements that went into it. So there was a lot that I bit off that was a bit more than I needed to actually handle for that week. So looking back on that, I had a lot of lessons learned on how to prioritize and really take my time as far as building up the asset and all the sub tools. As far as my personal inquiries, as far as what I would ask myself, what was I planning to do from here? What are my next steps? What are the things that I need to do to successfully finish up this character? Those are the big things. As far as to answer those, what I need to do from here is I had a good chance to put in all the elements from dividing all the individual subtools. So whether it was the bandaging that are on the arms, or whether it was the armor, the leather armor piece, or the shoulder strap that goes to the quiver, the individual arrows, there's four. You can only see three from this angle. Knee pads, straps, the bandages that are wrapped around his ankles and his shins. From here, some of the suggestions that I would suggest to myself is from this build up a little bit more. I wanted to maintain my poly count. I'm looking back as a lessons learned from the last character model that I did. I think the final count was definitely over 1,000,000, which was way more than what I really needed. But I put in a lot of elements and I had to really bump it up to really smooth things out. So from here, I wanted to work with the least amount as possible. I think that the sub tools that I've added on top really look smooth. The character itself, I could probably go up another division or two and smooth that out so I can add in some more detail, especially here around the eyes. Right now, my total poly count is about 250,000. So I definitely have leg room to work with. From here, I want to keep it at a minimum, though. I don't want to go too heavy. I want to smooth out as much as possible so I can make sure that the things that I'm actually putting in are translating into the final product. So from here, I took time to really break down each element. I had a lot of good critiques from last week, a lot of words of encouragement, a lot of the things that I was thinking of anyway, especially when it came to the thickness of the arms and the legs. I model it more towards the arm muscles or the leg muscles in the actual frog. Are much thicker at this point from the references that I was looking at. But as far as the concept reference, he was much more of a humanoid, and Tim gave a great recommendation as far as definitely bringing in the shoulders, pulling out the chest and the abdomen to make it more human-like, and then bringing in the neck muscles. So smoothing out the arms and the legs and making it more like the reference. I definitely want to take time to do more of that. So from here, as far as some of the suggestions that I have myself is, yes, I took time to prioritize that, but now I really need to get on the ball and get into the point of doing my retopology so I can get in my UVing and then ultimately get into my texturing. Some of the things that I want to do for texturing would be the skin. And I think the prominent space that I can show that would be here on the bridge of the face and across the head, slightly across the back of the head going into the upper neck and shoulders. A little bit over his arms. For the most part, this character is covered with some type of armament or clothes or bandages. So I'm not going to see a lot, but I definitely want to see if I could get some here to represent the texture of a frog. Other than that, I want to see if I can get into the feathering that I could get for the arrows. And I had a number of references, and I'm trying to really figure out how to get that in. I don't want it just to be a static cutout. I really want to see if I could attempt to pull off putting more of a feathered texture, more of a hair-like. So I was thinking maybe X-Gen, or I'm going to see what else I could look up to really bring in that element. Just don't want a stagnant triangle or whatever the shape may be as far as putting that in to represent the feathers on the arrows. It's definitely since I took the time to really model each arrow, so these can actually be taken out. So I want to make sure that I finish up that element from there. Then definitely maintaining my poly count. That's another big thing I can't stress myself enough. I'm already at 250,000. I want to keep a low element as far as my poly count is still getting a good amount of detail. As far as elevating, I'm really happy with the fact that I was able to put in a lot of the things that were discussed in my week one. Definitely with the balancing part. As far as before, I really didn't notice it when I turned it in. He was off kilter basically. So this part was more level, and then his legs were coming in at an angle. At least the turn in fall that I had. I had a fall where I fixed it ready, but needless to say, that's a little bit too late because what I turned in, he was off balance. And from there, it really gave me a chance to really fine tune what he was doing with his arrangement. Even though he's more of a humanoid, I wanted to still keep some type of frog element inside of it. So definitely elongating the legs and the arms. I wanted to exaggerate that a little bit more. Side of the reference, it doesn't show that as much, but I'm really happy with where I am right now. Right now, I'm going into week 3, so at this point, I really need to get hot as far as putting retopology, UVing, and texturing. But worst comes to worst, I'm okay with what I'm doing right now because I had a hard lessons learned last time around. I don't want to repeat that. So while time is on my side right now, I want to definitely take time to execute that. So thank you again for all the critiques. Definitely all the constructive criticism that may come in from this is welcomed, and I'm really enjoying seeing what everybody else is working on. All right, thank you, and that concludes this. Thank you.